I've come to tell you something that you've been waiting to hear, though you might not even realize it. I've come to speak to the part of you that has been quietly suffocating under the weight of everything you've been told, everything you've believed about yourself, the weight of the lies, the rejections, the doubts. You may have been made to believe that you are broken, that something inside of you is irreparably fractured, and that you will never rise again. But hear me now, as clear as day. You are not broken. You have simply been buried under the weight of lies that were never yours to carry. It was never your fault. It was never meant to be your burden. The world may have told you that you're not enough, that you're weak, that your past failures define you, that your mistakes have stitched you into a suit of inadequacy you can never escape from. But these are not truths. They are shadows, shadows cast by the words of others, by the fear and self-doubt that they planted in your heart, growing into a forest of uncertainty that has kept you from seeing your own light. But you're more than the whispers in the dark, more than the labels they've placed on you. You have a fire inside you, a flame that's been kept smothered, but it hasn't gone out, not yet. You've been wandering through life, carrying the weight of their opinion, the burden of their rejection, the scars of abandonment. You've believed that you're nothing more than the broken parts of a story that went wrong, that the people who turned away from you have somehow defined your worth. But I'm here to tell you, they were never the authors of your story. You are, and no one has the power to write your ending except you. It's easy to get caught up in the false narratives that surround us. You see everyone around you moving forward, succeeding, living their best lives, and it feels like you're stuck, like you're the only one who hasn't figured it out. You may even wonder if it's too late for you, if there's any point in trying to change, to rise from where you've fallen. But let me tell you this, your story is not over. No, it's just begun. The pain you've been through, the rejection you've felt, the betrayal you've suffered, all of that is what will fuel your ascent. They turned their backs on you, and maybe they thought that was the end of you. But I'm telling you now, the moment they turned their back, you began your transformation. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You don't need anyone's validation to stand up and be the force you were always meant to be. They might have told you that you weren't enough, that your dreams were too big, that your pain would forever define you. But they were wrong. They only saw your weakness, not your strength. They didn't see the fire inside you, smoldering, waiting for the right moment to ignite. You're not broken. You are being rebuilt, piece by piece, in ways they will never understand. And when you rise, they'll be the ones chasing your shadow. This is your moment, right here, right now. This is where the journey begins, and it's a journey that you've been destined to walk. You've been through the storm. You've felt the weight of every failure, every rejection. But it's time to stop walking with your head down. It's time to stop accepting the scraps they threw at you. You have within you the power to turn your pain into purpose, your suffering into strength. And the first step is realizing that the lies they've told you, the doubts they've planted, have no power over you anymore. You were never broken. You were just waiting to be reborn. You are here, you are alive, and you are ready to break free, to shed the skin of who they thought you were, and become who you always were meant to be, the one who will rise from the ashes and take back what's yours. So stop thinking that they hold the power. Stop thinking that their opinions matter. It's time to take control. It's time to rise. You're sitting in the silence of your own mind, hearing nothing but the echoes of your own doubts. It's a suffocating silence, the kind that wraps around your chest, making it hard to breathe. You tell yourself it's just a phase, that this feeling will pass. But deep down, you know it won't. The weight of abandonment presses down on you like a heavy, suffocating blanket. The people you thought would always be there for you, your friends, your family, the ones who said they'd never leave, have walked away. Some of them left without even a goodbye, and the ones who stayed are no better. Their silence screams louder than their words. It's a kind of loneliness that cuts deeper than anything else. It's not just about being alone. It's the kind of loneliness that comes from feeling like you don't belong anywhere, like you've been cast out into a world that doesn't care whether you survive or not. You try to tell yourself you're fine, that you can do this alone, but even when you're surrounded by people, you feel like an outsider. You feel invisible. The world moves on without you, and all you can do is watch, feeling like you're stuck in a cage, desperate to break free, but not knowing how. Every time you try to move forward, to take a step towards something better, it feels like the ground beneath you shifts, pulling you back into the same cycle of failure and disappointment. You've tried to put yourself out there, tried to believe in something, tried to trust again, but all you get is rejection. Your efforts are met with cold indifference, like the world is telling you that you're not worth the fight. And so you begin to question, what's wrong with me? What did I do to deserve this? What's the point of trying anymore if this is all I'm going to get? And those voices, the ones that live in your head, telling you that you're not enough, that you'll never amount to anything, those voices grow louder with every passing day. They tell you that you'll never find your way out of this, that you'll always be stuck in this place of pain and confusion. They feed on your fears, amplifying every little insecurity until it feels like there's no escaping the trap they've set. They tell you that you're weak, that you're a failure, that you're not capable of change. And the worst part is, you start to believe them. You start to see yourself through the lens they've created for you. And every time you look in the mirror, you're met with a stranger's face, someone unrecognizable, someone you don't even want to be. You can feel it, can't you? That gnawing, aching sense of inadequacy, like you're always 2 steps behind everyone else, like you're constantly trying to catch up, but every time you take a step forward, you're pulled back into the same darkness that you can never seem to escape. It's exhausting, isn't it? To keep fighting, to keep pushing, and still feel like you're sinking. Like the harder you try, the deeper the hole gets. Like every ounce of energy you put into moving forward is just another drop in the ocean of despair, disappearing without a trace. The people who once claimed to have your back, the ones you trusted with your heart, the ones you believed in with every ounce of your being, they've turned their backs on you. They've walked away, leaving you to pick up the pieces of a shattered reality. Maybe it wasn't even a dramatic exit. Maybe they just faded into the background, letting you struggle in silence. Or maybe they've said things to you that cut so deep, you're still bleeding from those words. It doesn't matter how they left. What matters is that they did. And now, you're left with the aftermath, trying to make sense of a world that feels colder and emptier than it ever did before. And those insecurities, those things you've been hiding, the ones you're too afraid to let anyone see, are eating away at you. They tell you that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy of anything better than the life you're living now. They make you question every choice you've ever made, every person you've ever trusted, and you start to wonder if you'll ever be able to stop the cycle, if you'll ever feel like you're good enough to stand tall, to hold your head high, and to finally say, I'm proud of who I am. But here's the thing, I know how deep that pain goes. I know how dark it can feel when everything around you seems to be falling apart. I know what it's like to feel like you're fighting a battle that no one else can see. And the weight of that battle is so overwhelming that it feels like you're drowning in your own thought. I know what it's like to feel like you're losing yourself, piece by piece, and to question if you'll ever find your way out. But I also know this, you are not alone you are not the only one who has faced this kind of pain. You are not the only one who has been abandoned, rejected, or torn apart by the cruelty of others. And just because it feels like you're stuck right now, doesn't mean that this is where you'll always be. I know it's hard to see the way forward when you're trapped in the darkness of your own mind. I know it's hard to imagine a future where the pain doesn't feel like it's suffocating you. But let me tell you something important. That pain is temporary. It's real, but it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of your transformation. The moment you decide that you're not going to let the darkness swallow you whole. It's the moment you choose to rise above the lies, to walk through the fire, to stand up and say, "This is not who I am. This is not my story." The people who left, the ones who turned their backs on you, they're not the ones who get to define your future. They don't get to write your story. You do. And if you choose to step into the light, if you choose to take back your power, you will see that you are stronger than you ever imagined, stronger than they ever gave you credit for, stronger than you ever thought possible. But it all starts with recognizing the power you already have inside of you. You are not weak. You are not defined by the people who abandoned you or the insecurities that plague your mind. You are not the sum of your failures or your past. You are so much more than that. The road may be long and it may be filled with obstacles and setbacks, but that doesn't mean you can't walk it. That doesn't mean you can't rise above the pain, the rejection, and the doubt. Because no matter how dark it gets, no matter how lost you feel, there's always a way out. And it starts with you. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking this is it, that you've reached the end of your road and there's no way out. The moments where you've tried to find hope feel like distant memories now, fading further and further into the abyss. The weight of your struggles, the unrelenting silence, the rejection, it all presses down on you until it feels like there's no escape. You've put so much energy into trying to change your circumstances, trying to get back up when the world knocked you down. But with every effort, it feels like you're sinking deeper into the quicksand. You try to move forward, but nothing changes. The same cycle repeats itself over and over again. You fight for a little hope, only for it to be shattered when life throws another curveball. The pain becomes familiar, almost comforting in its own way, because it's the only thing you can rely on. But deep down, you know it's not enough. You know you're drowning. You're drowning in your own despair, trapped in a cycle of waiting for a change that never comes. Every day feels like a blur, like you're simply existing, not living. The days pass, one after another, but you're stuck in the same place, unable to break free. And there's that voice again, the one that whispers in the back of your mind, telling you that maybe it's time to give up. Maybe it's time to accept that this is who you are now. Maybe it's time to stop fighting for something that feels so far out of reach. Maybe the life you imagined is nothing more than a dream, something unattainable. And so you wonder, why keep trying? Why keep pushing when nothing changed? The people who promised to help, to stand by you, where are they now? They've faded away like everyone else. You're left alone in your misery, and that's where you begin to think, maybe this is my life now. Maybe the pain is just a part of me that I'll have to carry forever. You begin to question your worth. You begin to ask yourself, asterisk, what did I do to deserve this? Why is everyone else moving forward while I'm stuck here, wallowing in the same misery day after day? The isolation is consuming. It's like you're standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into an endless abyss, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to climb out. The dreams you once had, the goals you set, where are they now? They seem so far out of reach, so impossible. And with each failed attempt, each moment of rejection, that sense of hopelessness sinks deeper into your bone. You've spent so long waiting for something, anything, to change, but nothing ever does. It feels like you're standing still in a world that's moving forward, watching as everyone around you finds success, love, and happiness while you remain stuck in the same cycle of despair. The distance between where you are and where you thought you'd be seems infinite. You wonder if there's even a point in trying anymore. The fire inside of you that once burned so brightly is now nothing more than a flicker, slowly fading out. The energy, the excitement, the belief that you could do anything, it all feels so far away now. You've come to the painful realization that maybe you've been waiting for someone or something to save you, to pull you out of this darkness, but no one is coming. The truth is, The people you thought would be there for you. They've either left or they never truly understood your struggle in the first place. They never saw the depths of your pain, the way you've been fighting every single day just to keep your head above water. And maybe, just maybe, you've been waiting for someone to tell you that it's all going to be okay. But the truth is, no one can tell you that, not until you decide for yourself that you're ready to fight. But even as you sink deeper into the darkness, there's a whisper deep inside you. It's faint, almost inaudible, but it's there. It's telling you that this moment, this unbearable pain, this overwhelming sense of hopelessness, it doesn't define you. It's not the end. It's just a part of the story. It's the lowest point. And even though it feels like the world has collapsed around you, even though every step forward feels like it's dragging you backward, this pain is not permanent. This moment is not forever. It's easy to believe that you'll never escape this darkness, that you'll always be stuck in this pit of despair. But what if I told you that the pain you're feeling right now is part of your growth? What if this is the moment where everything changes? What if the darkness you're drowning in is the soil in which your transformation begins to take root? Because the truth is, pain is a powerful thing. It shapes you, molds you, forces you to confront parts of yourself you've been running from. And while you may feel helpless right now, like there's no way out, this is not where the story ends. This is just the beginning. When you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, and that's up. You're at your lowest point right now, but that doesn't mean it's the end. The tears you shed, the sleepless nights, the overwhelming weight of the world on your shoulders, they will all pass. They are not the definition of who you are. They are the experiences that will shape you into the person you are meant to become. And one day, when you look back on this moment, you'll realize that this was the moment you started to change. This was the moment you decided that you were done being a victim of your circumstances. You were done waiting for change. You were ready to create it. And when that moment comes, when you finally rise from this despair, you'll see that everything you've been through, every tear, every heartbreak, every moment of hopelessness, it was all worth it. Because you will come out of this stronger, more resilient, and more powerful than you ever imagined. But right now, in this moment, I want you to remember this. The pain you're feeling is real, and it's okay to feel it. It's okay to be angry, to be sad, to feel lost. But know this moment doesn't define you. It's just one chapter in a much bigger story. And it's the chapter where you find your strength, your resilience, and your power to rise again. In the heart of the darkness, when everything seems lost and hopeless, there's a truth that remains unchanged. Change is always possible. No matter how deep the pit may feel, how suffocating the weight of despair, there's always a way out, always a path that leads back to the light. You might not see it now, but it's there, waiting to be discovered, waiting for you to take the first step toward it. Even in the most desolate corners of your mind, there's a flicker of hope that refuses to die. It's buried deep, perhaps smothered by the weight of everything you've been through, but it's there, and it can never be extinguished. It's the spark of life, the resilience that lies within you, no matter how much the world has tried to crush it. That spark is who you are at your core, your unbreakable essence. It is a flame that no storm can put out. And once you realize that, once you recognize that the power to change your life has always been inside you, everything begins to shift. Think about the world around you. It goes through cycles of destruction and rebirth every single day. The night always gives way to the dawn, and no matter how long or dark the night seems, the sun will rise again. The flowers that wither in the cold of winter always bloom again in spring. The trees that lose their leaves in autumn always grow new ones when the season turns. Life is constantly regenerating itself, adapting, evolving, and so are you. The change you seek, the transformation you dream of, it is already beginning. It may not be visible right now, and that's okay. Growth isn't always something you can see in the moment. Sometimes, the most important changes are happening beneath the surface where you can't immediately see them. Just like a seed buried in the earth, it doesn't look like much at first, but inside there's a transformation taking place. The seed is breaking open, pushing against the soil, reaching for the light, and it's only a matter of time before it bursts through and begins to grow. Your journey is no different. Right now, it may feel like you're stuck, that there's no progress. But trust me, when I tell you this, change is happening, slowly, steadily, in ways you can't yet see, but it's happening. Every struggle you've faced, every tear you've shed, every moment of pain you've endured, those are all part of the process. They're the soil in which your strength is being cultivated, the foundation upon which your new life will be built. There's a power inside you that no one can take away. No matter how much they've tried to break you, no matter how many times you've been knocked down, there's a well of strength inside you that remains untapped, waiting for the right moment to rise. That power doesn't come from the outside world. It doesn't come from others. It comes from within you. It's the essence of your being, the truth that you are capable of more than you've been led to believe. Imagine for a moment a storm sweeping through a forest. The wind howls, the trees bend, and the rain falls in torrents. It looks like the storm will tear everything apart, and for a moment, it seems like the forest might never recover. But after the storm passes, the trees are still standing. Some may be damaged, but they are still alive. The storm did not destroy them. It merely cleared away what was not needed. The storm is a force of change, a necessary catalyst for growth. And so are your struggles. They are the storm that has passed through your life, clearing away the debris and making way for your true self to emerge. You might be wounded, but you are not broken. You are still standing, and like the trees, you will rise again, stronger than before. In this very moment, as you feel the weight of everything on your shoulders, remember this: change is not only possible, it is inevitable. You are constantly evolving, constantly growing, whether you see it or not. The person you were yesterday is not the person you are today, and the person you are today is not the person you will be tomorrow. You are on a path of transformation, even if it's a path you can't yet see clearly. Think of yourself as a piece of coal. It feels heavy and it feels dark, but under the right pressure and heat, it transforms into a diamond, one of the hardest, most beautiful substances on Earth. Right now, you may be enduring the pressure, the heat, and it may feel unbearable, but understand that this is your transformation. You are being shaped into something extraordinary. You are not meant to remain in your current form. You are destined for greatness. But first, you must go through this process. You are not stuck in the pain. You are not doomed to be trapped in this struggle forever. Change is coming, and when it arrives, it will come in ways you can't yet imagine. It will come through self-realization, through understanding your own worth and your own power. It will come when you decide, truly decide, that you are ready to rise, ready to step into the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. You have everything you need to change, to grow, to become who you're meant to be. You've always had it. You've just been waiting to recognize it. You've been waiting for the right moment, but the truth is, the right moment is now. It's here, in the present. You don't have to wait for some external force to change your life. You don't need someone else to make the first move. The power to transform your life is inside you. You've always been the key. So take a deep breath. Right now, in this moment, decide that you are ready to grow. Decide that you are ready to let go of the fear, the doubt, the negativity. Let them go and let yourself blossom into who you are meant to be. You are already on the path. You are already in the process of change, even if it doesn't feel that way yet. And when the storm clears, when the night fades into the dawn, you will see yourself for who you truly are: a warrior, a survivor, a person of strength and resilience. You will see the beauty in your scars, the wisdom in your struggles, and the power in your transformation. Even in your darkest moments, remember this: there is always hope. there is always the possibility for change, and you are capable of becoming everything you've ever dreamed of. The seeds of change are already planted. It's only a matter of time before they bloom. It's time to stop playing small. It's time to rise up and reclaim the power that has always been yours. You've been through so much, and every scar, every struggle has only made you stronger. The pain you've endured, the wounds you've carried, are not your burden to bear. They are your battle scars, proof that you have fought and survived. Now it's time to embrace the strength you've earned and step into the role you are always meant to play, the hero of your own story. You are not the victim of your circumstances. You are the hero, the warrior, the one who decides how this story ends. Too often we get caught up in the narrative that others have written for us, the story of failure, defeat, and loss. But that narrative isn't yours to tell. You are the author of your own life. It's time to take the pen back and rewrite the chapters of your journey. No more waiting for others to save you. No more waiting for life to get better on its own. You have the power to change everything. You have the strength to rise above it all. Your past pain, the struggles you've faced, the betrayals you've endured, they are not your weakness. They are your fuel. Every time life knocked you down, you got back up. Every time someone tried to push you into a corner, you found a way out. Those moments didn't break you. They sharpened you. They made you stronger, more resilient, more determined to keep moving forward. It's time to stop viewing your past as a chain that holds you back. Your past is not a prison. It's the foundation upon which you will build your future. Think about the great heroes, the warriors who overcame impossible odds to emerge victorious. They weren't born with special powers. They were forged in the fire of adversity. They were tested, broken, and rebuilt. And in that process of destruction and renewal, they found their true strength. Just like them, you have the ability to rebuild yourself. You have the ability to rise from the ashes of your past and build something even stronger, even more powerful. Your self-worth doesn't come from external validation. It doesn't come from the opinions of others. It comes from within you, from your ability to persevere, from your refusal to give up, no matter how hard life gets. Reclaiming your personal power means taking responsibility for your life. It means recognizing that you are in control of your future, no one else. You don't need anyone's permission to live the life you deserve. You don't need anyone's approval to go after your dreams. The only person you need to prove anything to is yourself. And once you realize that, once you embrace your own strength, nothing will be able to stand in your way. The path to empowerment begins with self-belief. It starts with telling yourself that you are worthy, that you are capable, and that you are enough. The world will try to convince you otherwise. It will tell you that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve success, that you're not worthy of love and happiness. But those voices are lies. They are not your truth. Your truth is that you are powerful, you are capable, and you have everything you need to succeed. To reclaim your power, you must first let go of the beliefs that have held you back. You must let go of the stories you've told yourself about your limitations, your failures, and your weaknesses. The only thing that has ever truly held you back is your own belief in those lies. Once you let go of them, you'll see just how limitless your potential is. Building resilience is about embracing the challenges life throws at you. It's about learning to thrive in the face of adversity, not just survive. Life will never be without its obstacles. There will always be moments of doubt, moments where it feels like the world is against you. But those moments are not your defeat. They are your training. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The key to resilience is not avoiding pain. It's learning to rise from it again and again. It's learning to see every setback as a lesson, every failure as a stepping stone on the path to success. Your past pain is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. It's proof that you've endured, that you've kept going when everything inside you screamed to quit. That is the true measure of your strength. When you begin to see yourself as the hero of your own journey, everything changes. You stop waiting for someone else to save you. You stop looking for validation from others. You stop playing small. You start stepping into your power, taking risks, and going after your goals with everything you've got. You begin to realize that the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. Once you break through those self-imposed boundaries, you'll discover a world of endless possibility. It's time to stop holding yourself back. It's time to stop letting fear, doubt, and insecurity dictate your actions. You've already faced the worst. You've already survived the hardest battles. Now it's time to step into your greatness. It's time to stand tall and show the world who you truly are. No one can take away your power unless you allow them to. Your strength comes from within, from your ability to rise above the challenges life throws your way. Every setback is an opportunity to become stronger. Every failure is a lesson that will guide you toward success. And every moment of pain is a reminder of how far you've come. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a survivor, a warrior, and you are stronger than you know. Now is the time to stop doubting yourself and start believing in your power. It's time to rise. It's time to reclaim your life. The world is waiting for you to show up as the hero you were always meant to be. You weren't meant to stay down. You were meant to rise, to shatter every expectation they placed on you. There's a moment in every journey, often quiet, often subtle, when everything shifts.